You have to start looking forward. When it's hard, when you feel lost in your season, when you're unsure, you have to stop looking back. You have to find happiness in any moment. If you're bored, if you're lonely, if you're a little sick, you have to find joy within that hour. You have to find joy within that time. We don't realize how much things we take for granted. I mean, we just don't. We don't realize until we're wiser the things that we took for granted as being youth, as being young. And that's where we fall short. I don't think we take the negative and try to look at the positive. It doesn't make the situation necessarily change, but it changes your outlook on the things you do and how you go about your actions in that time. And anything that happens in life, there is a possible find of peace. And people are giving up. People are struggling with this, finding peace in the hour, finding peace in the tough times, finding peace in the difficult times. You have to find happiness and peace. Find that joy within your faith that it's not as bad as it could be, or the fact that I'm just okay with what I have right now. If it can be worked out, fixed stone, crafted different, that's an opportunity to make it right. It can change. It can really put you in a different mindset. Finding that joy in difficult times, finding that peace in hard times can make the situation ease a little bit better. I know it's hard. It's not the first thing that you typically even think about when something comes your way, or a roadblock just stops right there and you're like, where do I go? What do I do? When you find yourself in a rut, when the business is not going as great as you would like it to, when the marriage or the relationship is not exactly where it needs to be, the first thing we usually think of is ourselves, or pointing the finger, or simply what the other person did. We don't sit here and say, hey, Lord, guide me. Or we're not being fruitful as far as doing what the word tells us to do. We're all guilty. We're all guilty of that. But you have to find favor and that peace within any situation. You have to be comfortable in the spirit. Sometimes when you're alone, not everyone is going to be there. You're going to get all this advice, and you're still going to be puzzled on which advice to take, because some things, having a conversation or confiding in someone, it just doesn't fix it. Honestly, like most of the things that happen, yeah, we're telling people because we want to release that energy. We want to get it off our chest. But it doesn't typically change the situation. I'm just being honest. And that's why you have to also focus in on staying silent. And it's not about being secretive. It's not about being scared. No, it's the fact that you're tapped in. You're creating something that's like a baby. You want to nourish it and care for it. Or it's something that simply everyone doesn't need to know. And so when you find yourself being comfortable in your presence with God and in your faith, and you consult with God and you ask God and you tell God what's going on and what you need, and you start going in the direction of faith, that's why some people have more peace. People are losing their minds. People are trying to find a way through the things of this earth. And I'm not saying you can't be satisfied by the things that you possess, but if you find joy and peace and just contentment in that situation, it typically really, at that point, it doesn't matter what the earth is giving you or not, because you're at peace with yourself. You're at peace in your faith. You're going to God about your thoughts and your challenges. You're going to God about your issues that you're really facing inside, that you might not even want to tell nobody in the first place, but you're telling them because, they're just a phone call away. But like I said, we have to start thinking, hey, let me pray on it. Before I even open my mouth to speak, let me be slow to speak, because things change in the blink of an eye. You might tell them this thing, and then an hour later, somebody might call you with a blessing. But you're speaking too fast. So like I said, when you find peace and you find favor and you find joy and you start going to God about it and you start praying and you keep reading the word and praying and just letting God know, hey, I hear you. I'm doing the best that I can. I've repented. I'm trying to go in a new direction, in a new faith, and just really worship the joy of my situation. Oh, things gonna start coming. But when something takes place and you speak on it right away, and you're telling everybody, and you're not taking it to God first. You're not praying on it first. Before you pick up that phone, and I know we're all guilty, but are you truly mentally and honestly taking it to God first? We're putting everything before him, even in those soft moments. And that's why I'm just learning to, no matter what, be slow to speak, show, have favor and grace. Be thankful no matter what, because it could have been worse. When I started repeating those affirmations to myself and I started just putting that in my mind, like even, I just went to the bank. I'm saying? It took a little second, but it's okay. It got resolved. My issue from my debit card not working, and the story that I just told you on the last video about my accident, I got it resolved. Yeah, it was after the fact. I got the rental and everything. Just piggybacking off of that to give you all a live example that these are real situations. It still got worked out. It still got worked out. So show favor. Be thankful even in the moment, no matter how hard it is. Go to God. Pray about it first. Have it in your mind. Keep it sound for a moment first. And watch your blessings flow. You have to be content being alone in your faith in God and your readings and your learning to understand. You have to show favor. So, I just want you all to know that even when we are unsure and we don't even know that we're doing the things that we're doing, when you know better, you do better. It's the same sort of concept. Okay, well, I never thought about it this way. Let me read into my word and see how this correlates. Let me get an understanding for myself. Let me read on how to do that and better myself and better my faith. And then it creates a smoother routine. You don't feel such in a box. If something doesn't go your way, you don't feel so, out of it to where you're going against your character and your temple of God. See, it kind of all trickles down. It'll all trickle down. All trickle down. But you have to start bringing it to God first. You do. Even me. I'm still a work in progress. But that's just a view of you all, to you all, that I wanted to share on, like I say, God has just been showing so much favor. And even if it pops up in my head, I want to get it out because somebody listening to this could be tremendously encouraged or had just went through the same thing. You could change your posture in your faith. You could change your posture in your faith and watch your blessings overflow and continue to prosper. As always, you all be encouraged.